Well, one of you people had told me, let's not read the Smokey Robinson book because he don't give you nothing. He give you stuff, but not in the package that you want it to be. This was the time, the rise of Whitfield, the ascendancy of Ashford and Simpson, when Holland Dozier Holland fell out with Berry Gordy. They each had made millions, but finally felt they'd make more elsewhere. They sued us, never won anything, and to my mind, lost a great deal. Okay, I asked again, do we want to put Lamont Dozier Holland, Lamont on the list? We're not getting ready to do that next month because I told you I wanted to read something inspiring next month. Okay. So far we're leaning towards Viola Davis or Clive Davis. Okay, it's up to the Davises. It's the fights between the Davises. But I never read in no Motown book. If I have, you all can check me because you know how you hussies do down there in the comments. You always got to run to the comment section to check me. Do not recall ever reading in any Motown book we read that Holland Dozier Holland lost that suit. Now, I've read that they've sued, but I've never read that they lost. Now, ain't that a bag of cheese? I blame Eddie Holland. I always saw Brian Holland and Lamont Dozier as the talent on that team. Now, going back to the Murray Wells book, remember, Murray Wells also said that Brian was the shining star. She was in her mind sleeping with Brian Holland. Brian Holland was like, I don't know what the hell that lady talking about. I'm a whole married man, and if I am going to hunt somebody, it's going to be that goddamn Diana. Okay, it's not going to be Murray Wells because she nutty. Eddie could write lyrics, but he'd often have others help him, forgetting to give them credit. I didn't like that. I thought his negativism got in Brother Brian's way, and Lamont got T-rolled. He got caught in the middle. Tried to talk Brian into staying. Man, I said, I think you're going to find an awfully cold world waiting for you out there. I always loved Brian and Lamont because they helped make Motown, because they're beautiful writers and beautiful people, and because their music is immortal. Catch the shade. Fuck you, Eddie Holland. Things were changing. The business was rewarding us, but also hardening us. Even as Motown's main acts grew more popular, that initial period of euphoria was coming to a screeching halt. When you're young, the world seems promising. There's the promise of friendship, success, a happy family, an exciting career. Motown gave promise to many. There'd been many Motown marriages. Our Bobby Rogers married Wanda Young of the Marvelettes. Billy Gordon of the Contours married Georgina Dobbins, also of the Marvelettes. Johnny Bristol married Iris Gordy, Barry's niece. Mickey Stevenson married Kim West. In spirit and mind, Motown represented hope to a slew of young artists, a bunch of kids really looking to get over. Many of us did. Some of us didn't. In an atmosphere where hit records were exploding like fireworks over here, over there, everywhere you looked, it was easy to lose perspective. Grim reality raised its ugly head for the first time when our driver, Little Eddie, was killed down south a couple of years later. Lucy, Gordy, Barry's beloved sister, who watched over our books, was struck down by a cerebral hemorrhage. Barry never forgave himself, always questioning his choice of doctors. I'm confused because I thought that Lucy had passed from cancer. But okay. He'd also been married and separated from his third wife, Margaret. From then on, Barry's bachelorhood was unshakable. This during a time when the Supremes had become the hottest act in the world. It's also the time that Florence Ballard, one of the original Supremes, fell away. Florence was beautiful, big voiced, fun loving, and down to earth. Her boyfriend, Tommy Chapman, had been Barry's driver. Little by little, he convinced Flo that Barry was out to get her. He messed with her mind. I think he pushed her off track. Florence also suffered from envy. She deluded herself by believing that she deserved the same recognition as Diana. She really believed she was the great talent. Compounding the problem was Flo's own depression. She started drinking, showing up late, even missing gigs. It hurt to see it, but Florence did herself in. By 1968, she was out of the group. By 1976, she died of a heart attack. Self-destruction took a similar toll on Paul Williams, one of the Temps, a friend I loved dearly. Riddled by personal problems and alcoholism, he shot himself to death in 1973. Sometimes I think success is harder to accept than a failure. The option open to you, drugs, drink, sex, excess, ego tripping can wipe you out quicker than rejection. Books have been written about Diana Ross and Berry Gordy, their love affair, his favoritism, her bitchiness, his unfair treatment of the other Motown women. Well, I was there. I saw it come down, and I'm here to report that although they surely fell in love, theirs was a relationship rooted in business. What? You say what? Okay. Barry managed Diana because Diana was a tremendous talent. Diana followed Barry because Barry was a tremendous businessman. These were two powerful but practical people, interested more than anything in success. They both saw each other as vehicles to success. Okay. But when Barry wasn't doing what she wanted him to do, she was like, "This train, I'm getting off, bitch." And at the stop that I'm getting off at, there's $22 million waiting for me. I take nothing away from the others, great soulful singers all. But Diana was different. Her gift was overwhelming. She broke down barriers for the rest of us. Barry probably spoiled her, and sure, she could be difficult. But what female superstar isn't? A woman not willing to wield a sharp sword will never cut through the bullshit of the business. Marvin Gaye's expectations of himself still weren't fulfilled. "I'm going off to do something entirely different," said Dad, in the whisper, quiet, cagey, cool voice of his. "What?" I wanted to know. "Can't say it right now, but I'm forming a plan." In the late 60s, my own plans were changing. For the first time in my life, I was growing sick of show business. The traveling was getting to me. The politics were getting to me. The Vietnam War was raging. King and Kennedy were gunned down in cold blood. Her father came to me. I remember the day like it was yesterday. We just arrived in Detroit. I was wearing a white Nehru suit and a gold chain, all the rage back then. "My daughter is a fan of yours," he said. "She'd very much like to meet you." Who the hell does this remind you of? The Ollie, right? I mean, the Robert. Okay, can't say the R and the K and the ELLY. We can't say that shit. I want this shit monetized. And it's telling me that the Robert ain't do nothing. That niggas been offering their children to older superstars for years. Her name was Candy, and she was in fact a fashion model. She had flashing eyes, caramel colored skin, a bright smile, a super shapely figure, a beautiful personality. She had flashy eyes, caramel colored skin, a bright smile, a super shapely figure, and beautiful personality. Was I vulnerable? Sometimes I think I'm always vulnerable to women. Sometimes I think most men are. In any event, on that afternoon, talking to her at the airport, nearly losing myself in her warmth. I nonetheless resisted. Nice to have met you, I said. You can escape my spell, she joked. I'm a witch. But I'm an angel, I replied. And angels can escape witches whenever they want. I escaped until sometime later. We were playing the Michigan State Fair, and lurking in the wings there she was, a vision of loveliness in high heels and tight dress. Her attributes evident, her attitude open and friendly. Smokey Robinson, what is you doing? The bitch done told you that she was a witch. She said to you, Smokey Robinson, I am a witch. Why is you, what the, Smokey, that was a ploy. She gotcha. I'm working as a model at the auto show, she said, but my full-time job is at the Playboy Club. I'm a bunny. I hopped down, never had been in a Playboy Club before, and watched her work. She gave me her number, and the first time I went to see her, I brought a pal along, not because I needed a chaperone, but because Candy said she lived with a girlfriend. I wonder who the pal was. See what I mean? You know what? One of you people had told me, let's not read the Smokey Robinson book because he don't give you nothing. He give you stuff, but not in the package that you want it to be. I want to know who was the pal. Better press on. You're the only black chick I've ever met, I told her, who talks like the product of a white finishing school. Well, I'm interested in acting, so I try to speak correctly. But if you want me to, brother, I can get right on down with my street talk, you know? We laughed, we talked all night. And at 5 a.m, though she was very reluctant, I talked her into making love. It was beautiful. Bitch, you had to talk her into making love and she was reluctant? 5 a.m. Smokey Robinson took time away from his family, okay? All from being a miracle, to sit and talk to you all night. He even brought a friend to keep your girlfriend busy so he can put that work on you, girl. And you trying to tell me that she was reluctant to the Smokey Robinson? It was beautiful. Girl, I just want you to be happy, she said afterwards. What? Girl, do you think a man can be happy with more than one woman? I asked Daddy Five. I was back at the house on Belmont. Daddy was up in his room sipping VO, talking to me while fixing one of the kids' toys. I don't look at it that way, boy, he said. I look at it like this. Go back to raw times before all the rules and regulations. In raw times, the natural thing was for a man to have as many women as he wanted and could afford. That was true in every tribe. The Lord made more women than men. Now, you don't expect that he wanted those extra women to go without a man. No, sir. I think he meant for the men to be shared by the women. Get away from me with that. Five's philosophy had a powerful influence on me. Though my views would change over the years, to a large degree, I agree with Daddy. I mean, to a large degree, I agree with it too, but you niggas is broke with 10 bitches. I felt that because of my love and respect for women, I could maintain relationships with more than one. I even fantasized about having children with women of every race and color. All of us living together in one house filled with peace, harmony, and happiness. But I also knew that I was living in the United States of America. That's right. There's a man I want us to meet, said Claudette, over breakfast one morning. His name is Throckmorton, and he's a doctor. He specializes in helping women with problem pregnancies. I've heard he had unusual theories and methods, but I want to see what he's about. I agreed to accompany her, and a week later we were seated across from a tall, thin, elderly gentleman with snow white hair and kind blue eyes. My examination reveals that the shape of your uterus, Mrs. Robinson, may not support a fetus. So anyway, let me tell you what the man came up with. Damn, what is the name of it now? I forget the name of it. But anyway, they found a young lady who would hold Claudette's eggs and his sperm and carry the baby. Okay? I mean, who the hell don't want to carry around Smokey Robinson and Claudette Robinson's baby? Look, I got a whole Claudette Robinson and Smokey Robinson baby in his belly. Make way for the princess. Like, I would be purity royalty, child. The only thing the lady wanted was her college tuition paid for. You better go. I go down in history as the bitch that carried the baby. In March of 1968, he called to say that the woman was entering her second trimester of pregnancy. Indications are that she'll carry the fetus full term. Throckmorton declared, "If I were you, I'd start telling my friends and relatives that you and Mrs. Robinson have applied for adoption." I told Barry, and Claudette told Erlene, Ronnie White's wife. We told everyone else that we were hoping to adopt a girl. The call came on August 16th, 1968. "I'm happy to say," announced Throckmorton, "that you are parents of a healthy baby boy." We explained to our friends that the adoption agency had urged us to adopt a baby boy who had just arrived and bore an uncanny resemblance to me. Legally, we adopt the child the day after his birth. How strange to adopt your own baby, and called him Barry William Barope Robinson. Barry after Barry Gordy, William after me, and Barope after the first two letters of my partners named Bobby, Ronnie, and looking at my son for the first time, I couldn't contain myself. I wept as though I were the baby. Anyway, child, let me tell you what tore me up. Smokey the Robinson, you are a fool. You are a dumb me. You just as bad as Jermaine Jackson. Anyway, he took the baby over to see his side chick, Candy Girl. Candy Girl in tears. "Oh, I feel so bad. I'm breaking your family up." Yes, bitch. That's what you doing. You breaking up the Robinsons.